welcome back to another episode of Red Hill Racing Podcast. I'm Ben Knight, and I am joined by Mr. 40 Time once again. Glad to have my
I didn't get left out this time.
Man, we had a little scheduling conflict. I apologize. I didn't even tell you I was recording last week.
No, you didn't. Last week, this fucker, I'm like, hey, man, like, what time are you going to be done with your dinner? And he was like, already done. I'm like, what? I just got smoked. Like, I was like, I told Tamara, I was like, guess what? She's like, what? I ain't got to do a podcast today. Been done one.
I was going to say, you acted, first off, NSFW. Sorry, we already cursed. But yeah, I didn't. So, long story short, I had a wedding dinner meeting on Tuesday night, which is when Dustin and I usually record. And I asked him, what was it, Monday? I said, hey, can you record tonight? And you said no. You were working on Marcus's motor, right?
I had to take Marcus's motor apart that he's dying to have. Now I'm waiting on parts for.
So you said, I got to take Marcus's motor apart. And I said, okay. And so I texted Tracy. I said, tonight's your night to shine. Let's get a podcast done. He said, all right. So I didn't even tell Dustin until the next day. And Dustin
the next day I'm trying to figure out how to make it work still, you know, like how are we going to do this? We're going to do it like at 10 o'clock at night or something. Whatever we got to do, we'll get it done. He's like, oh, it's already done. Yep. I'm like, what? And then he sent me like the image that we put online. It's like, well, guess what? I ain't got to do it. They didn't need me for this.
But I don't think we had as good a response. You're the hype man. You're the comedian. So
speaking of, y'all gonna like my hype tonight. I'm just saying.
Well,
I'm back.
Yeah, exactly. We're glad to have you back, man. It's not the same, but we had a good interview, or I had a good interview with Tracy last week. That was cool.
Really good information. I listened to it because I wasn't there, right? So it was all new to me, and I listened to it while I was working. I'm like, hey, man, you know, I learned some things, you know, things that Tracy had done in the past, and you know what sparked everything, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah. We just wanted to kind of shed some light on everything he's got going on. And Steven actually texted me today. He said, you know, he really liked the interview with Tracy. So it might not have hit home with everybody, but appreciate Tracy coming on and helping out.
Speaking of Tracy, I watched y'all's live video. I think it was.
Oh, when I was up there? Yeah.
I watched that and I learned some stuff there. Just like, you know, I never seen inside their shop really. It was pretty cool.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, we got to do some education. That's edumacation. That's why I was up there. So I actually have some videos I got to put together for Tracy. Do a little more explanation, and we're gonna get Mike Burkhart on here as well. You know, there's different ways to make carbon and stuff. So you know, that's just the way Tracy and them do it. And like I said, there's multiple ways to skin the cat, as they would say. And they all have their pros and their cons. So we'll get Mr. Burkhart and BMF on here. He does a great job with his carbon products, and they're, I don't know what you'd call it, almost like bespoke. Like he does a lot of custom stuff, like Spencer's camo, or no, actually his camo bike, and then Spencer has a version of the camo, right? So a lot of cool things. Yeah. A lot of cool things. But yeah, we're I'm glad to have you back for sure. And we got a good interview. It's a short interview tonight, but Dustin and I were able to grab our brother that we dearly love, and we love his racing series. Brian Welch is on tonight for a quick interview.
I mean, I miss NHDRO. Even talking to Brian just made it worse.
I know.
Like, I know you moved from like, you know, NHDRO territory back to like Virginia. So we're kind of in the same boat. We both you have to drive even farther than I do, but
right.
It just to drive, just, you know, for us, we're just so far away. It's just not feasible anymore. But man, do I miss it. Like, just talking to him made it.
I know.
Just talking to him just made it worse. Like,
you know. Oh, 100%. Like I literally want to load my shit up and go racing and go race with Brian in NHDRO this week.
What I would like to see Brian do is like pull off a race like in November or December. Because I would fucking go, because I wouldn't have no races going on, and it would just demotivate me to drive however far it is.
Well, like another thing too is, you know, when you and I used to go all the time. Well, one, I lived in Ohio, and then, you know,
it was like 3 or 4 hours for you usually.
You know, worst case, you know, Indy was an hour and a half, 2 hours. So that I was there. Then of course Ron would come up from Bowling Green, and you and Wes would come up from, you know, Tennessee, and then we'd have you know, Joe Deck and, you know, everybody else, Spooky, coming up from Bowling Green. And that was also, you got to remember too, back when we were really hitting that hard, there was no SDBA.
Yeah, it kind of took a bunch. I mean, for me, when I slowed down, I told myself 2 series, and it initially was just I was running Brian's and XDA. That's what I was running for the time. And then when SDBA was born, I'm like, man,
whoa, you there?
I can run 2 series and then drive, a lot of races 2 to 3 hours for me. I'm like, whoa, are you there?
Yeah, sorry.
But I went, when SDBA was born, it was like, when SDBA was born, I'm like, hey, I can drive like 2 or 3 hours tops to race, and that would be my other series versus XDA. And I'm like, dang, like it really tied me down. And then if I run Brian stuff now, I'd be doing 3, and it's like, bro, I just can't. I gotta have my time, my family time. It's just tough.
For sure. And you and I we don't race like we used to, that's for sure. But no, I mean, the main thing is Brian was actually traveling for work, so he took a quick 30-minute time slot to jump on with us, because although he's currently traveling for work, he will be putting on a race this coming weekend in Cincinnati, Ohio. So we were glad to have him on briefly. Basically, just kind of give a rundown of NHDRO, and they've been around for 13 years. Him and his wife Nikki and their whole crew. It's a great series. He talks about, and we briefly were able to talk about some of the unique and trend-setting things Brian's done over the years.
No doubt, man. We said it when he was on the call, is that like him and Nikki always strive to make it where we had a good time. If it was a rain delay or whatever, something I didn't mention on the call with him was one time we were all tied up in our campers because it come a monsoon at Indy. I'm talking like, the sideways rain, like Forrest Gump stuff. It was raining so hard. Well, I text Nikki and I said, the first person to go knock on Bill Buller's door at his camper will get, I think it was, she had like an umbrella, NHDRO umbrella, and I just bought it from her. And they get that umbrella. And she put it on Facebook, and I watched Jeff Dalton run out in the pouring down rain and go knock on his door and then take off running. And then he sent me a picture with his umbrella. Like we tried, like we all just stuck together and try to make it fun. Fun, no matter what. Oh, bro, it was. It still is, guys. Like, hold up. It still is. We're just not there. We're saying was because our dumbasses ain't there.
Yeah. Hey, I was able to sneak down last year for a day. I was in the area for work, and then I coupled that with a big car race that I had pre-entered for. Didn't even realize it was the same weekend as NHDRO, or I wouldn't even did the car race. But long story short, that got rained out for a day, so I ran down to, believe it or not, I'm pretty sure it was this identical race weekend at Edgewater in Cincinnati. I ran down there, got to see some old friends and faces. I won, what the hell I won something. I think I won the street ET shootout Friday night. Yeah. Won something real quick. And then I went back to the car race because I had a bunch of money invested in those entries, but man, it was good to see everybody, and I miss those times. It's a great series. So
it's just different. I don't know how they do it, man, but like we told on the Brian the call, like one time, like we was in St. Louis one time and it was raining, then it quit and the sun come out and they're driving the track. Well, we're racing Groms in the staging lanes. Like he always figured out a way to have fun. Like to Brian, and a lot of people don't realize this, but his races was a break from work for him so he could have some fun too.
Yeah.
And that's, Brian's passion itself was racing. It progressed from stockish looking Boosas to a full blown grudge bike at this point. And he's got several bikes, but it was his break from work and life to have some fun too. That's why between him and Nikki, they strive to make it like entertainment the whole time you're there for all of us. I mean, I remember them having dunk tanks. Early days, they had bikini contests that kind of went away because, Nikki was like, hey, hold up. I think he said that in the call, let's do this instead of that. Like they've always strived to make it entertaining. And I mean, you can't get mad at a series when you're there and the promoters out there doing hood rat stuff with you with pit bike races or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, we've been to other races and they have pit bike races, but there's not many races that you have grudge match, head up, pit bike races in the staging lanes. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and just to say it, the track officials would come over and then they'd go talk to Brian and then they would go away and then we'd go back to race, So, because that's just how it was, man.
Stuff
yeah.
For sure.
And we had fun and they still are having a good time. Yeah. So, and we say this in the call, if you are remotely, like if I was within, I don't know, 4 hours of this race, I'd be there. But like if you're in that window, guys, and you're wanting to go racing, like this is it. You should be there. Like you need to go.
This weekend,
me and Ben would be there.
Edgewater. If it wasn't, it would take me probably about 7 or 8 hours. So I just can't. I got too much stuff going on right now.
I think with stops, it's like 6 for me. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a time I wouldn't even consider it unless it was over 10 or 12. But that's long ago. But for me, I mean, this weekend is a local track. I've been trying to run them points races just so the bracket finals deal. So I'm going to hit that this weekend, and they got a double points race. So it's not double points; it's 2 races in one day. So we're trying to make up rain races because I've missed 3. So I gotcha. Well, yeah. I mean, our point is this, y'all. Brian, they had a way reduced schedule last year and this year. I basically think it was like 3 weekends where they're getting 2 days of racing in. So basically six days of racing, 6 separate events, I guess you'd call it, wrapped up in 3 weekends. So, get out there. That's not a lot.
Hey, man, Brian even says on the call, if you can't race on Sunday, they're having full races on Saturday. So you could go up Friday, test, race Saturday, and then go home. Yeah. You can race on Sunday and not Saturday. You can do whatever you want. There's racing both days, full races. So
you'll get the whole rundown on when Brian gets on here. But as Dustin said, there's shootouts and testing Friday. Then you got a full day, a full slate. So they qualify, they race on Saturday, and they do it all over again on Sunday. So that's really cool. So if you're in the area of Cincinnati, you need to go out and hang out. And if you're not going to race, hang out, but go to NHDRO. It's a great time. Trust us. It's fun. Brian makes it fun. Brian and Nikki and their whole staff. I mean, they literally do their best to cater to the racers. So, that's not a knock on our other series. We love everybody, but we
love them all, guys, but they all have their peak interest to us. So that's just one of Brian's
love as well.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
Let me pull up while we're talking about that to make sure I'm not let's see what else is going on. So the only thing I see on the calendar, so this isn't going to be an interference on the calendar I have, is AHDRA, all Harley, and they're in Sturgis. So you ain't got no excuses. There ain't nothing else going on this weekend.
Yeah, them drag racers are checking out the biker babes.
Yeah, but that's my point, Dustin, is unless you're racing a local event, you ain't got no excuse but to be in Cincinnati
I mean,
this weekend.
If you live up in that area, I was saying from Kentucky to Michigan, and if you just draw the circle, I mean that area, guys. Like if you live up there and if you race motorcycles, you should really, really be going to the race. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Like I said, if I lived within a normal distance, I'd go hit it. Maybe not hit both. Just go race on Saturday, then come home. That way you ain't got to drive all day Sunday.
And then for y'all that are diehard SDBA, it's a good warm up, y'all. It's a good warm up. So
yeah, I mean, it's next weekend. So yeah, for sure.
Get your stuff ready. Get your gear together. Shout out to our amazing sponsors. We appreciate your support. Worldwide Bearings, MPS Racing, Penske Racing Shocks, MTC Engineering, Platinum General Services, Schnitz Racing, Manchester Mines, Montgomery Motorsports, Hard Times Parts and Service, Night Marketing Group, Energy Coil, University of Wind, and BMF Motorsports. We're going to do another giveaway. We're going to do a smaller giveaway tonight. Did we decide when we're going to do the next big one? If we're going to do that 15,000 downloads?
I don't know, man. Whenever you feel like doing it. I mean, I think they ought to earn their keep. We got to get these downloads to give away stuff. We have a lot of big giveaway stuff to give away still. So,
yeah, for sure. I'd say, we gotta give ourselves something. Let me pull it up real quick.
I mean, just to mention something is somehow, guys, it's August. Like the race season, realistically, in my opinion, is done in October. So it's like we got, this month and 2 more months left, and it's flew by somehow. But I ain't happy with the heat. I'm ready. I'm ready for the sun to get away a little, but it's flew by somehow. I mean, I remember when I was like, "Oh, it's gonna be a long year," and then now it's like, "Shit, it's halfway over." You know,
dude, it's winding down. So Dust and I will try to put our heads together and figure out it. If we do the next, what we would call milestone, it'd probably be 15,000 downloads, and we're not that far from it. We'll probably be about 3,000 away after this episode. So we'll see, but we might come up with something else. We might just do it in the next couple episodes. Just give something big away.
You better be subbed up, quantity 5, baby. You better get in there.
That's right. We're not going to guarantee exactly what or why, so we might just randomly do it. And don't forget, we got the next big giveaway. You'll get to choose between Kevin's fine welding skills and his short neck frame service from Manchester Mines, or you'll be able to cop a badass BMF Motorsports carbon fiber tank shell. So whoever wins will get to choose. Be on them.
And I think I mentioned, didn't I mention to you that I had a plan for something at the end of the year for the listeners that was like the OGs? Like,
yeah, we're gonna do something for sure. And whether it's us spending a lot of money on shipping something, or we'll figure something out for y'all though. And we appreciate the support. Don't think we don't.
You know, I've been keeping it to myself for a while, and I don't know how many people even has experienced it or not, but I'm going to say it. At the end of the year, I am giving away, it's like a gift box of Hard Times beef jerky. It's a company that makes beef jerky, and their company's name is Hard Times. And it's really good beef jerky, and I give it away to a bunch of my top customers one year, and they love it. And I'm going to do like 4 or 5 of these bundled variety gift boxes. So when we do this giveaway, we'll have to spin it 5 times or random draw 5 times or whatever. And it's cool because I can ship them straight from them to you can do it as a gift, and you can just send it straight to whoever wins it. So it ain't got to come to me and then me box it up and do it to them and all that crap. So, but that's what I've been keeping it to myself. But since we're halfway through the year, you know, we're there. So I figured I might as well mention it. So if you like jerky, you're going to love this stuff, because I still keep some of it in my camper and stuff. And it's good.
And that's a good point. By the way, we basically had a half birthday. So we're a little over 6 months into the podcast. It's crazy to think that. I think this is like episode 31 or 32 or something. So
just think that you guys has had us on air or recording ourselves for a half of a year every Tuesday, pretty much.
Y'all are so lucky.
Yeah, y'all are lucky as shit. That means quantity 5. I'm just saying, like, quantity 5 for sure. That's my new thing. We ain't doing 1, we're doing 5. Pick 5. Yeah.
On that note, let's give away. I think the last time was hold on. I think it was an MTC, because Garrett won that. So let's do Dustin. You can pick either MPS or Schnitz tonight. What do you want to give away?
I think we haven't done the MPS one. I think Schnitz. So I think we done Schnitz and then MTC. So let's do MPS this time.
All right. Dustin is staring at my computer screen. He can validate this is
this
real.
The new computer?
No, it's not, man. Honestly. So look, I did spend a lot of money on a brand new computer, and I'm dying to use it. I haven't had time to really set it up, as bad as that sounds. But I'm glad I have it, because this one could take a shit at any moment. Like, I'm just
the reason I say that is every time you pull the wheel up, it like glitches. Like, it's like
this computer is like, dude, what the F are you doing? Like, get me out of it. Like,
yeah. I mean, it works. It just like there's a lag for me on my end.
It's slow. No, it lags on everything, dude. You should see when I open up my spreadsheets. Like, so before we even started recording, dude, I opened my giveaway spreadsheet, and then I opened my show notes, because I can't remember everything. And like, I clicked them on it both, right? And then I started doing something else. I'm not shitting you. Like, at least 90 seconds, if not 2 minutes later, all of a sudden they just opened up. I didn't even know they had Like they just opened up like a delayed like 2 minutes.
It took them a minute, man. It's like, you know, it's like a Monday to them. They got to get their life right. But I mean, at least the wheel is even more random with the lagging of the computer. So
yeah.
Not unless you're Farmer. It might be like liking Farmer a lot.
By the way, Mr. Farmer.
Yeah, we need to mention that.
He said, and we've done, I think, one since. I think that was Garrett the other week. But anyways, James Farmer said if he wins one anytime in the near future, that he will gladly pass because he didn't want to take all the joy from everybody else.
Basically, we made him feel bad because he was kicking ass on the wheel things, and he shouldn't feel bad because we just thought it was ironic that he just kept winning.
That was hilarious.
It's so random. How does it do that? But it worked, you know.
All right, so what are we doing? MPS? Here we go.
Yeah.
All right, here it's spinning. Dust. Oh shit! I'm about to pull my headphones off and everything.
All right, there, dude. You click spin and went away, and then it took it a minute to get its speed up.
Yeah, that's terrible.
It's like whoop, had to get its life right. Like, hold on a minute. It'll take it forever to stop. Oh, here we go. She's getting slow.
Oh, it might be somebody we don't know.
Well, I might be able to pull the email up. Oh. That's a new one.
Yeah, I got down. Hopefully this is right on my spreadsheet. We got Damon Carbine.
That's a new one.
Carbine, that's a cool name, I guess. Hopefully we didn't butcher your name. So Damon, congratulations. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm not even going to say the name because I will tear it up. I got Damon. I can do Damon, but the other part
it looks like Carbine or Carbine.
Yeah, Carbine. Carbine.
All right, let's see.
I shouldn't even said
it. Congratulations, Damon. All right, Damon's a $5 a month subscriber. We appreciate you, brother. We appreciate
Quantity
you.
5, baby.
That's
Quantity
right.
5.
Right.
Shit.
Let's see. All right, Dustin's watching. He knows I got to put in my spreadsheet. I'll forget.
Yeah, he's typing in all his stats here, guys. It's interesting to see this beautiful spreadsheet that takes probably a lot of time to make, but makes it more efficient when it's made.
Goodness. Imagine if I didn't have it. Hell, we wouldn't even know that James Farmer has won like 4 times. We'd just be like, man, that sounds awful familiar.
We couldn't even do this without it, probably. It would be rough.
That's for sure. So congrats.
Thank God one of us is organized because I wouldn't make no spreadsheet. I'd write it all down pen and paper or something. Maybe I'm old school.
Yeah.
You've seen my desk. I have a pen and paper like exactly where I sit. Like that's exactly what I go to every time.
I'm pretty old school too. I still got a wall calendar. That's my main calendar is wall calendar.
Well, you say that like my dad's shop, I was raised with handwriting invoices and we had a Rolodex for phone numbers.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen one of those in a while.
Yeah. Or we would write a number and just like put it on the counter and tape over it so it wouldn't get damaged.
That's how my dad's entire office is like that. It's like just shit taped all over it.
It's so cool. I love that. Like I still do things like that. I think it's so cool.
Now I'm a sticky note guy. Like I got Post-it notes. I usually have anywhere from like probably 5 to 6 there, and like it's usually to-do lists. I'll knock them off every week or so.
I can't keep Post-it notes because my daughter likes them and she comes in my office and steals them. So
fair enough. So what else we got, Dustin?
I mean, I'm going to go play at Knoxville this weekend. Tamara's got to work, so it'll just be me and baby girl until Tamara gets off work. Then I got to prep motorcycles and prep the whole trailer. I went camping this past weekend, took all the parts out of the RV, yada, yada. I got to get all that back right before SDBA. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I haven't even done anything to my bikes really since Bristol when I went there and raced. So I didn't get to talk about that, did I?
No, tell them about that. Tell them about that, how you mopped up at Bristol.
Man, so
spoiler alert.
Yeah, so kind of what happened was me and my wife has been together for like 16 years. And when we first started dating, we got pets. And unfortunately, 15, 16 years is a long life for most animals. And we lost one of our pups, one of our dogs. So instead of sitting around the house last weekend on Saturday and, being snot bubbled and thinking about all that, we went to Bristol. I couldn't go. I was like, I'm not going. So Tamara and Harper took her to the vet, done that deal because her kidneys was giving up on her. I went to Bristol. They come up after and got some pizza from that pizza place. I can't remember that. Boomshires. Do you remember that place?
Boomershots?
Yeah, the pizza place.
Sorry,
yeah,
Boomer Shines.
That's a pretty good pizza joint,
oh,
right?
man, that was my jam, dude. I literally
yeah.
lived a half mile from that mofo.
Yeah. So like when you go into Bristol, it's like you drive right past it. So she stopped and got me and Marcus and Grady and a friend of Marcus's. All of us, we eat. And we just went racing, man. I was on the Trunchbull and Old Faithful, and I had time between rounds. I actually use a weather station and keep an eye on the elevation, cool stuff like that. And I never lost a round. And I mean, what's crazy, guys, is there was some rounds like I would go up there and I'm like, one round I was racing a young man and he wasn't on the best ideal bracket bike, but he's just learning. And I was 004 and he was 01. It's like Jesus, you know what I mean? Like there was a lot of good laps. I did race a guy on a Z125 that dialed like 13 something.
That's tough, man.
Well, the problem with it was they do a ladder every round to decide a buy. Well, of course, Dustin was trying to race himself in the final. So the bike that I was on needed a buy to make that happen. And he leaves and he's running on his feet. He stood straight up. He's running on his feet behind it, like running. And he jumps back on the seat and gets it down and takes off. And I looked at third yellow and I said, I got to trash it. I got to hit the tree. I know I'm going to win this, but if I don't hit the tree, I won't get a buy. And I was 01. And it was funny because in the staging lanes before that, they were like, oh man, he's been killing it. And I was like, well, he better be dead on. That's all I can tell him. Like I dialed for dead on against him. That's the only thing I knew to do. Like you ain't going to judge that. You're not doing it. No. You can try. If there's a big gap, then sure you can. But if it's a tight race, you ain't judging that. Like it was like stupid, like 60, 70 mile an hour. Could just get out of here with that. You know, it wasn't happening. So anyway, I was 01, dead on. Perfect. Exactly what I said. Got the buy, stuck them both in the finals. Timber jumped on the Trunchbull, broke the beams, got a Wally. It was pretty cool. Got to see Uncle Jerry, hang out with him a little bit. I actually had to race Jerry at 5. And man,
Uncle Jerry.
Man, you know Jerry, right? Like Jerry likes nitrous. Jerry uses nitrous. He utilizes nitrous. Like,
man, you telling everybody.
Well, I mean, I have to because I raced him and I'd been running right lane all day, and Jerry knew that. So Jerry tossed my ass in the left because he had lane choice.
Like, and he smiled and laughed with it.
Yeah, didn't he? Well, yeah. I mean, I didn't let him know that I knew what he was doing, but I knew what he was doing. I'm like, cool, I'll go over here, do my thing, whatever. So I was I think we dialed like almost the same. Maybe I was a little slower than him. And anyway, we left, and I'm just like looking over like, are you going to spray me? Are you going to spray me? And I was out on him. I was 01. He was 03. He just never did. So I kind of just closed it up, right the stripe, wind light come on. And the first thing I said was like, why didn't you spray me? He goes, well, didn't tell nobody, but my nitrous wasn't working. I'm like, oh, shit. Well, good move, Uncle Jerry, because I was like banking on him to do it. You know what I mean? I'm like, when's he going to spray me? Like, and I'd been watching. I also noticed that he was dead on like pretty much every round. He was out the back door, but so was I. So me and Jerry's always a good race. And it was just great to see him and Hannah. And last time I went to Bristol, I didn't really get to hang out with them much. And we got to talk and hang out a little bit. And anyway, we run up there, bad morning, bad night before, made her dog some really good food for her last meal. And she's there and eat it. Bless her heart, didn't have much teeth left, but she slobbered it down. And we went up there and won that race and come home and kind of just, try to just not think about it. But, of course it smacks you in the face when you get back home. But I did go and have a good time, and I'm going to try to go have a good time this weekend at Knoxville. I really enjoy these local 1 hour away race, local track, drive home. Like if I'm out of town, that's a good time to me because I don't have to do the business thing. You know what I'm saying? Like when I go to a big race, I'm working, I'm selling parts, I'm helping people, whatever. But when I go to the local track, I just take my pickup and my trailer. I don't have anything. Like even if my bike's broke, I don't have anything. So it is what it is. I just go and race. And sometimes people will get lucky and I might have some random stuff in my trailer or something if they need it. But for the most part, it's just me going racing. There's not work tied to it. So whatever. But yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, I wasn't on last week, so I didn't get to talk about that, which I cut it short because, to be honest, I can't remember much about it. But and this weekend I'm going to hit Knoxville, and this weekend you're going to a concert, so You're going to be
I gotta
singing.
take my soon-to-be wife to a concert. I think we're going to see Eric Church and Cody Jinks. So
you're going to be seeing country and getting crunk. No, wait.
Crunk? Holy shit! I haven't heard crunk in fucking decades.
You're gonna be singing country and getting drunk, and I'm gonna be winning races and getting crunk. That's my plan.
All right, that'll work, man. Call me up. Call me up Saturday evening. So you racing Saturday?
Yeah, it's a double. So they had a couple of rainouts. Now I missed 3 races at Knoxville and Point. Somehow I'm still 3rd or 4th. But here's the thing for me. I was unaware they have this deal where if you win the track championship, you don't have to go to the bracket finals. You can go straight to the worlds. If I knew about that first of the year, I probably wouldn't have missed races. But now I'm like, can I catch them? I think I can.
It's just fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going racing, right? And I also have a streak at Knoxville. I'm not even going to jinx it. I'm not going to talk about it. But anyway, we go race to win, right? So I'm going to go race and have some fun, ride little bracket bikes that were super stellar the last time I was at Bristol. The only thing I've changed is I threw an auto-tune module on the Trunchable just to maybe clean up the top side stuff because it don't have an air box. Other than that, we should be good to go. It should be a good time.
Yeah, it sounds like fun. Like I said, I gotta take my beautiful soon-to-be wife to a concert. I promised her I would. Otherwise, as we already said, I'd probably be loading up to go to Cincinnati because I totally missed my NHDRO family. And like you said, it was literally like pouring salt in the wound, man. It's like
talking to Brian just made it worse. Like the want to go easy, we were worse now.
It makes me feel like I let him down. That I've not been able to come to any.
Well, he gets it, man. We're far away.
I know, but I'm just saying, like that's how much I want to go and support him. That I feel like I'm letting the Welches down. So I don't know.
Well, the thing about me and you is you support them probably from what 13 to 17, 18.
4 or 5, probably at least I would say 5 to 6 years basically straight. Yeah.
And I raced them from 14 to 2020 was my last time I've been there, I think. When was it they had the big payout that I won? Was it 20 or 21? 21. It was 21. It for sure was 21.
Yeah.
Because I went to Indy and I didn't go last year to any of them.
I was running Real Street at the time, and you let me ride one of your bikes. I was just going to show up and do something when I was totally not even bracket racing for like a year before that. And actually, before that, I was racing side by side. So yeah, I was dumb on move on my part.
For let's just say 6 or 7 years, we were both dedicated, never missed a race. So we did our due diligence, as you could say, on that deal. But I do miss the people. I miss Brian. And the thing about it is it's not just Brian and Nikki. Realistically, most of Brian's family's there working. His mom was always involved, and then his sons.
The boys. Yeah. Literally, the whole staff was phenomenal, and they came to the track wherever it was. So
always the same tech guy, you know what I mean, and then you get the same groups of people that you always just can't wait to see. I mean, I always got to mention Jeff Gordon, not the one that races NASCAR, but the one that cooks the best fish ever at the racetrack. They'd always, come by and I'd get me some fish and then go watch Grudge. And we talk about all this stuff on the call.
The whole Shell House family. Such a good group to hang out with. So I don't know. We miss y'all.
When I think about the Shell House family is they all bring their helmets to the stage and lanes in a bag.
Which is smart if you think about it, because
it was super smart.
Helmets just flying off and falling off and getting punched and kicked around, and
it's super smart. But that's like their trademark now. You know what I mean? Like they've always done that, and every time I think of them, I think about them, rolling at Indy up toward the starting line, and they're getting their helmets out of the bag and putting their stuff on, and then the pit person has the helmet bag and the tire gauge. It's just, we've seen that so many times that it's just an imprint in my brain, but. Miss all the people, and if you guys, we've preached it already a much, but if you're in that area, you gotta go, man. You just gotta
go to NHDRO. Like we said, it's a short interview with Brian, just only because he had to go to another meeting. He was literally out of town working and took a little bit of time. He had to jump on with us. What we're gonna do though, we're gonna get Brian back on because we want to hear his stories. Because if you don't know,
we're gonna get Big Greasy back on. You'll hear
Greasy,
it.
Big Greasy. That's right. We're gonna get Big Greasy back on so that we can hear some actual grudge racing and just all the fun stuff he's done over the years. So look forward to having Brian back again, and hope y'all enjoy this short interview. And as we said, go support NHDRO if you're even remotely close. And if you're not remotely close, you better be going to a local track this weekend or taking your wife to do something nice.
And one last thing for me is subscribe Quantity 5.
There you go. All right, y'all enjoy. All right, our special guest tonight is Mr. Brian Welch from NHDRO, and Dustin and I have known Brian for, what do you think, 10 years?
Ever.
Yeah, Ever. It seems like forever. How you doing tonight, Brian?
Oh, we're doing really well. Thanks a lot. I'm glad to be invited on the show. Thanks again.
Yeah, no, thank you for joining us. We're trying to make the rounds and get everybody on here because, when Dustin and I first started this, we had some small goals in mind. And, one of them was to promote the University Wind School, but then it's kind of morphed. And as it morphed, we really want to promote the sport as a whole, and we feel like it's a good platform. So we've been trying to get everybody on that has a series and whatnot. So glad to have you on because, as you well know, it's not just blowing smoke up your ass. Dustin and I, NHDRO has always held a special place in our heart.
No doubt.
Oh, yeah, that's good to hear. It's funny, again, for you guys to invite me on, I've heard a lot about you guys, University Wind. I think it's funny that, I race and I'm a promoter. So when I got the ping that you guys want to have me on, I had to ask myself, do you guys want me on as an expert drag racer? You guys want me on as a promoter? So I guess we'll go with the promoting side this time, I guess.
Yeah, we brought Brian Welch in here, not Big Greasy.
Yeah,
that's good. That was good.
Since we
happy to be on.
Yeah, since we know you're on some time constraints with your work obligations, we'll get Brian, the promoter, on tonight. We'll save the grudge racer for another time because we got plenty of stories for that.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
So tell us what's going on this coming weekend, because we squeezed you in at an opportune time, I think, and hopefully we can get some people to head your way this weekend. What's going on?
Well, we got a big race coming up in Cincinnati, Edgewater Motorsports Park, in Cleves, Ohio. It's only in Cincinnati. Second race of the year, second one at Edgewater, actually. So it's going to be a big event. We got all of our normal classes with the 3DT and Pro AT. We have our Super Comp mixed in with our, quick street. It's an 880 class now. Good index there. And then, of course, we have our Top Gas and Dirty 30. So
and there's one of those every day, right? Like there's 3 of them, correct?
Yeah. So what we do on Friday night, we just basically do a shootout, right? It's really a race shootout. Everybody put in $50-$100. We pull names out of card out of a deck of cards or out of a hat, pair up at the line, make some passes. Just a fun time. That's what we do a road course, shootout that way. Basically, that's just any bike that can pass a road course with me, just go down the track. And then we also are having a 50 and older no box bracket race, which is really fun. We had it last, I think we had 17 or 18 racers in it. And of course, Marty White and Joe Morosco actually got out there on a bike.
That's cool, man.
Joe did?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Crow Teasley went out there.
Now, you got like a couple of years before you can run that, right?
Oh, I could have run it 3 years ago.
I'm just being funny, man.
Well, Brian, you just said Crow. Damn, I guess that makes sense too. I guess I always look at Crow. I swear, Crow hasn't aged. Neither of you though. I got all this gray hair now, and like y'all just look the same as 10 years ago.
Yeah. So the 50 like is really fun. But yeah, we try to keep everybody young out there having a good time. I think Marty either had to run Joe Clemmy, or I can't remember how the finals was, but I know Marty White, he's probably my top, bracket index racer right now. He's on a run. I don't know if you guys have ever raced Marty White before. Oh yeah,
I've been watching Marty. He's doing a damn good job this year.
He really is. So it's going to happen. He had good supporters out there. Nice guy. You never see him argue or get it mad. He's just one of those racers you just love to see come through the gate.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. So you got a big weekend coming up, and then you said, what was it? The first race got rained out, correct?
Yeah, we had a Muncie race early in late April, and it got rained out, so we postponed it. Now we're going to run it the first weekend in September. Okay. So it's kind of the same classes. And for those of you guys know, NHDRO started out before we started going to the bigger tracks, and then now we're back to smaller tracks again. Muncie was one of our pristine tracks we used to go to and have a good time. So we're going to go back to where we started and do some do some racing up there in Muncie. So.
I've been to that track one time, and the one time I went there, I had a great time and raced well, done well, good experiences there.
Well, what I remember about Muncie and you, Dust, is when John Markham and I got into it about a rule or something, or his brother or something, and you said, Brian, you don't know John Markham that well, but you just made him mad. Watch what he does now. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. That? And then he kicks everybody's ass. Yeah. Oh, gosh. You made John mad. He comes a good racer every time.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. He's a good racer anyway, but he gets that much better. But that Muncie. So, yeah.
You got to spark a fire in that old guy.
Yeah. You got to get that heart pumping. It's slow paced until you get him fired up.
Dustin, is that the race, Dustin, that we were gonna go to XDA or something?
Yes, it was. We were going to XDA and it rained it out because I was like waiting on Jack to do that. That's when Jack. It was IDBL then, and we all shot. Bob Carlson, all of us went to Muncie, and it was
right, and me.
It was destiny. It was a great time. Yeah, it was awesome.
I mean, I've been there many times. That's when I first met Mr. Ron Arnold, and and then he.
Yeah, you cut your teeth there. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I knew that stood out. Like we diverted and went somewhere else to race. That's how hard up we were back in the day. We probably have no money to be doing that shit either. That's the funny part.
No, I already spent the money, so you might as well go try to make it back. You know what I'm saying? Shoot.
The times really have changed quite a bit since back then. I mean, Nikki and I have been doing NHDRO. This is our 13th year, guy. That's
wow. Yeah.
I challenge you guys to find another sanction that's been going 13 consecutive years. And, I pat myself on the back, and it's really Nikki, as you both know her pretty much.
Yeah.
She's like, tell everybody, I'm just the look. She's the brains behind the operation.
No, she is, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
We know.
We know she keeps everything organized and running smooth. Yeah. But, throughout the years, you have come up with some remarkably cool ideas, events. I mean, most notably, I would say it's got to be that when we have the 128 bike shootout for 60 grand or something.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a trendsetter for sure. Everything Brian's done has started trends, every bit of it.
I like to hear that too. I like to do things that are different. I remember we came up with an app where you can just put a sticker on the bike. When they come up to the line, you scan it with your phone and it takes the number straight to the tower, so you don't have to reading numbers off online and getting things. So just little things like that. We just try to make drag racing better. So
I mean, it made it more fluid. I mean, the sticker thing worked out when I was there. We used that, and it was always effective. Sometimes the scanner thing, the tablet would go dead on us, and we'd have to go back old school for a minute, but it worked. Yeah.
Those are lessons learned. Like when it's hot outside, you lay the tablet down for a while. It gets hot and goes out. So we got to go back.
It's like I'm out, boss, which we're all about to die. So shoot.
I remember too. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Nikki or somebody that was working for you came up with it. But y'all let us pay. It was something nominal. It was stupid cheap, but it was like $20, and we got like 10 sheets of our stickers with our name, address.
Nikki did that.
Tech card.
Yeah,
dude, I had those for years.
Oh yeah. So what that was, when people coming in, and especially people like Dust and you that get 5 or 6 classes, you have to write your name down on so many tech cards over and over again. Nikki said, how about we just make them a label? They come in, they pick the label off and stick it, sign it, and go. So
it was amazing. I still have mine. The address is wrong, but they work.
I used mine, Brian, until they were absolutely done. And every time, every time I'm at the racetrack now, I literally say, damn, I wish I had some of those stickers again. And I could easily make them. I never think about it until I'm there. So that was another thing that y'all added that was so cool, and just a bonus for the racers. And like I said, I remember it's just covering the cost of the paper and stickers.
Well, it also helps the tower out read our chicken scratch, because sometimes we get in a hurry.
Oh yeah, especially when you're doing multiple cards, you kind of start just scribbling things down. So yeah. But things have changed quite a bit, though, guys. I remember back when I first started in 2009 or 8, whenever I had my first race in Indy. It was funny because no one really knew who, Brian Welch or NHDRO, and the name No Hating had such a negative connotation to some people, like, maybe you can't do that. And it was so funny. I got a call from, one of the big guys in the industry, motorcycle drag race, and I was telling them, it was Terry McIntosh and Dave Schnitt. I was like, guys, I want people to come to this race in Indy. I don't think we're going to come. They don't know who I am. They don't trust me. So what I want to do is I want to give you guys all the payout money, $32,000, whatever the payout was. I want you guys to take this money and hold it for me and put on social media that you have the payout money. And they did that. And people said, you know what? everybody knows Terry and Dave. Let's go ahead and go to the race. And it was a really, really good first race. And it gave me the opportunity, Nikki and I, to get our name out there and really start to improve drag racing in the Midwest, which was my goal.
Yeah. No, yeah.
I didn't even know that story, Brian. I'd never even heard that.
Yeah, me neither.
That was a little bit before my time of being up there. I reckon it was probably, let's see, I moved probably 2012 is when I first started to come, and then the whole time I lived there, I don't think I missed an event for 4 straight years.
Oh, I'm sure you didn't. It was good racing too, and that was back when Indy was hot in St. Louis. But since then, Indy's kind of taking a little back seat. People are thinking, man, Brian, you're not going to the big tracks. Well, the big tracks aren't favorable, believe it or not, in the Midwest.
Yeah.
They don't really like grudge racing.
Yeah.
So the feedback I've gotten actually from the tracks, like, Brian, we're really not going to have you guys come back because we don't like the gambling at the line in the grudge scene. And I was just thinking, it's interesting because, like I said, we've been around, 13 years now. We've never had a fight break out. We've never not paid anyone. We've never had any negative fisticuffs or anything like that at the track. So it's kind of disheartening, especially to Nikki, for us to want to go back to the tracks we used to go to. And then for them, for, I guess, reasons I don't understand, really don't want that. And I think the NHDRO, I had a couple of promoters say, have you ever considered, a couple of the track owners asked me if I ever considered changing my name from, No Hating. And I tried to go more to NHDRO, which most people know us by that now, because for some reason that No Hating had a negative connotation, and some of the tracks don't like that, I guess that statement that goes with that. So having some issues with, and actually some of the racers are also in the same vein. We're like, why do we do grudge? Why do we do grudge? So here, I'll be honest with you too. The reason why I like what we're doing with Kevin Adams and Jeremy England, which I'll tell you guys about in a minute, is because it's grudge racing. It really is, but it's looked upon favorably by the same people who aren't really in the, grudge racing. So what I did was, Kevin Adams was in the shop. I was down at Joe's shop, and Kevin was in there, and we were talking about Jeremy England and the races. He said he really wants to race Jeremy. He said, Brian, I'm not on Facebook. Can you put a post out there and ask Jeremy, for $500, whatever the amount was, tell him I want to race him on Friday, just a top gas index race. We're going to show up at the line, put the index up on the board, and I want to race him. And I know Jeremy England well enough to know that if I put that on Facebook, he's going to jump. He's going to jump.
We can vouch for that too.
And I posted it out there, and immediately his response was, so Jeremy, I don't care who it is, Brian, don't even tell me. I don't care what bike he is. If it's 820, I'm in there. So I was like, oh boy. So then I called Kevin, tagged him. He says to go. So I like the 820 theme. So I said, what we'll do is at 8:20 p.m. for $820 a racer for both of you. We'll do an 820 index. So it's 820 for 820 at 820 is what we're doing Friday night in Edgewater this week. So it's going to be a fun race. But I did that because, first of all, Kevin asked, but secondly, there's no difference in that and then what we call grudge racing.
It's the same. It's the same thing. Yeah. Same thing.
Grudge racing nowadays, guys, is really basically people doing, buy-ins. Like, Jason Miller, who I have all respect for, I think the best promoter in the game, right? He called it the Bulls. I mean, all that is grudge racing. The only thing you pay an entry fee in your race. They still gamble on the side. It's the same thing we're doing with Jeremy and Kevin Adams, right?
Mm-hmm.
Grudge racing. But I want people to see, guys, grudge racing, it doesn't matter if the times are shown or if it's an index. If it's two people want to race each other, see who's better at whatever the class is or the bracket or the index, let's do it, right?
And it's got hype behind it.
Yes, exactly. So I want people to start fun. Because it's funny because the same people that have posted, why do we have to, give up the track for grudge, or we hate grudge, or blah, blah, blah. They're also the same people that are really looking forward to see Jeremy England race Kevin Adams. I just want to point out that, you know what, guys? Drag racing is drag racing, right?
Well, you got to give everybody in their class time on the track. You can't be stingy and selfish and think it's all yours. You know what I mean? Like, the grudge guys are racers just like the street ET guys. They just have fast stuff with the clocks off. You know what I mean?
And it's funny you say that because, God, I've been doing it, like I said, 13 years. I've had races. I learned I've had some hiccups, right? So, for example, there was one race where we had a couple rain, a lot of oil down. So what I did was I held grudge off and cut their time to get the index racers in. I caught hell. You guys don't understand. Oh, this is important in, blah, blah, blah. And I've also had some races where I said, I don't care what's going on. We're going to cut and go to grudge at such time. So I can't believe we have payout. We're not going to be able to split a pot because you're going to grudge. So it's hard for them, the grudge racers versus the index or bracket racers, to really get along at the track because they just see each other different type of races. But to be honest with you guys, I look back and see this, it doesn't matter. And I will tell you this, the best grudge racers out there are outstanding bracket index racers.
I'll say for sure.
The Jeremy Teaseys, the Richard Gatt, those guys that grudge race, you try to race Jeremy in an 820 index.
They can do it all, man. The good ones can do it all.
I don't know if you remember, but I threw my bike at Teasley one time because he was trying to beat me in 820.
Yeah.
That was scary shit, though.
Oh yeah, I remember. You were at the top end when you were at the top end when it happened. I remember that. That was Indy, wasn't it?
No, it was St. Louis.
Yeah. St. Louis.
Yeah.
That was cool too, Brian, because I'm at the time, I think that was the first time, I mean, like documented at the very worst, but I'm pretty sure it was the first time there had ever been two actual street bikes running like a top gas.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Two no-bar bikes? Absolutely.
Yeah, it was the first. Yeah, for sure.
I love no-bar bikes in that class. The bar guys don't like it because the power difference is crazy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Trying to judge them. But yeah, Dustin, you've been doing top gas on your bike for what, 5 years now, probably?
Yeah, I've been doing it for a minute, and I can race both ways with the mile an hour, without it. I mean, the realistic thing to do is just dial your shit in to run the number. Now, I will say it's hard to judge Teasley because I've raced him one time in Indy, couldn't see him, rolled out the last minute, broke out like, I don't think it was like a little bit over 01 or something, just crazy, but that's just part of it. Like, it was my fault for not paying attention to the weather at Indy and the wind, and it got me,
Windy.
Yeah, that's one of the hardest racetracks to race at for me because I'm big. It just, the wind affects me so much more. But I still love the place. I still, love racing there. I miss going to NHDRO. Honestly, you were just on the subject about the people wanting their time on the track. Some of my favorite times at your races was after I was done racing, sitting on the wall watching Grudge, just chilling. Like
watching Grudge or watching bikini contest? Which one?
Grudge, man. I never really went to the bikini contest much, but I do like pit stopping by y'all's pit and getting some fish, and then going and watching Grudge. That's one of my favorites.
Oh, they knew for sure. The hey guy, Wayne, they got the fries and fish. Hey, put this aside for Dustin. He will be by.
Yes.
And the only reason why he hasn't come by yet because he's still in elimination.
Yeah. Yeah, he would always save me some, man. It was awesome. I sent my wife a picture if she went with me. She's like, "You mother effer." I'm like, "Hey, this shit good."
Yeah, I mean, we've said it for years. Yeah, I mean, Dustin and I've said it for years, and I know people probably think we're crazy, but it's like, man, NHDRO is just a big family, always so much fun. Yeah, I mean.
And it
was great times for sure.
That's really because of Nikki. She's really big into, hey, that's why we don't do the bikini contest anymore. She doesn't want, it's not family friendly enough for her. And we try to hide it and put in certain areas and blah, blah, blah. But Nikki's like, Brian, do we really need that? And I was like, not really. It's just something fun. She said,
I was about to give you praise on that. And I still think it's part you made it fun. You and Nikki made it fun. Like, if it was raining, you would have us on damn pit bikes racing in the staging lanes or something. Yeah. Like, I mean, we always somehow at your races figured out a way to kill some time while we were waiting. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, It was all you guys. You and Nikki is what made it so fun. Like, to be honest.
That. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and just the stuff you're doing, like you talked about with, and we mentioned it, so, the trend setting and the new stuff. But like you said, I mean, I agree with you 100% on the grudge racing. I mean, like, okay, take two people. Even if it's a dial-in, that's still a grudge race. And I remember for the longest time when Dustin, me, and Spooky, and Ron and Wes were always going like, who was it that we were trying to race? I just remember for the longest time you were like, I've got 5 guys that I will put up against anybody.
Oh, yeah.
You were like,
Brian always wanted to do the team thing. Yeah.
Coolest thing. I know it didn't actually come to fruition, but like, dude, you don't know how much that meant to like, and I know it did to other guys, but to me personally, just like that you had so much confidence. You were literally trying to bet and throw down on anybody to come face your team. Cause at the time, that's all we raced. We were all running NHDRO.
I really remember that. And I also, Death Row, you guys had, I think, some of the baddest racers out, right? I mean, you guys think, you guys had, you two, you guys had Wes, you guys had Ron Arnold, I think, for a while.
Yeah, John, Joe Deck.
Oh, yeah, Joe Deck, Big Joe, man.
My God. It's Joe's, straight killer in Top Gas, especially. I mean, now he's on a street bike now learning new things, but he's going to get there. You know,
his back, he's had some back problems too, but he's coming.
Yeah.
He's another one of those guys that you love to see come through the gate. Always.
Absolutely. I love me some Joe Deck. Good guy.
Yeah. One of those guys. So yeah, Death Row, you guys used to be rough. I told everybody all you needed was like a Kevin Adams in there, right? Because he was he was one of the baddest boys out there that wasn't in, Death Row.
Yeah, honestly, Kevin was one of her nemesis. Hell, he was always kicking her ass. You know what I mean? So, yeah, he beat me many a time down our fist bumping in the shutdown. I'm like, this fucker,
that took us a while
to get used to. That's his victory, Yeah,
but that was also another cool thing that, like, once we realized, like, the first time that ever happened, when like Kevin beat me, and I know like Dustin or whoever it was, like, he fist pumps, like just like he's so excited because it meant a lot, I'm sure, to beat us, and like he's fist pumping. The first time I was like, what the hell is that guy doing? And I was like, oh. But then I mean,
Kevin's
like
a good guy. He comes to XDA some, and I get to see him and hang out a little bit sometimes. He's a good guy.
Yeah, and Ben, your brother used to come out. He was pretty good too. I haven't seen him in a while.
If y'all my honest opinion, Steven's a better racer than Ben. He just don't do it as much.
I'm not going to deny that. If he ever raced even a 3/4 as much as I did, he'd probably win more than I did.
He's a doer, not a thinker, and he's so good at it.
He won't overthink stuff, so he just gets in rhythms.
He's taking some of our money home, definitely. So he's
like,
he does show up. He's hard to deal with. So we have a lot of good index and bracket races, guys. I'm telling you, and I will tell you guys, back in the day, and I would have, like you guys said, I'll talk about it all the time. I think the best index racers in the country live on this side. I'm telling you, the Midwest, we have. I think we have the best bracket.
Man, Ohio's got like straight killers in index and ET classes. Straight killers.
You got Jeremy and Marty, and you got, I know Joe. You guys know Big Joe Holt.
Yeah.
Oh, we got some. Ohio got some.
And even all the guys up, like even further north, like up near Summit, man, they're just badass racers. All the shell haws, and man, there are just so many good racers up there.
I know the race that we used to love because you guys used to get at it so much, Dustin. You know who I'm going to say, and he's from Ohio, right? The young boy, 19-year-old.
I don't remember which one that is.
Tylen Beckelheimer. Remember him?
Oh, yeah.
He loved racing. He does.
He wore me. And it was wild. Like, I raced him at your big race that I won in no box.
Yep.
And he laid down like a fucking 16 pack on me, and I was like 30 dead on, which normally in no box is great. He just drilled me. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, I hope he wins it. And then later on, he's gone. I'm like, damn it. He just blowed his wad on me. You know what I mean?
He is a very good racer at his age. Man, he
just needs to do it more. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. Like, you got guys that can come out there randomly and do well. Just imagine how good they'd be if they done it all the time.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Crazy. So,
yeah, for sure. So,
because personally, I mean, I don't race as much as I used to, and I can tell that I'm not as good as I used to be just because I'm not the track every weekend. But man, I got wore out. Like, it was just killing me. Running 3-4 series every weekend, it was just something. It just kicked my butt. It's the people that run one series, I'm still a little jealous of them because I like going to local track because if we don't support them places, they're going to be gone. You know what I mean? So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a fine balance, you said, Dustin, of trying to, that's one thing, Brian, we're always telling everybody. We try to mention at least every show, but sometimes we don't. But, we tell everybody, go support your local track, your regional series, whatever it may be. And I even created a spreadsheet to make sure that I try and hit on it every time. So we've been trying to shout out race events coming up and all, and, just encourage people to get out and go race, and go to some of these series and even the smaller one-off events. So it's good for everybody.
Yeah.
It is. And I want to, stamp that because, guys, Midwest drag racing is motorcycle drag racing. Midwest it's tough, right? I mean, for promoters, I'm not belling here too much, but I just want to keep it real with everybody. I mean, we need the support of the racers to come to support the sanctions, or there won't be a place to race. Let me tell you, guys, back in 2007 and 8, when I used to really, really like going to tracks, I would get frustrated because to go to a decent race, I'd have to go to Valdosta. I'd have to go to Rockingham. I'd have to go to Maryland. And I just thought to myself, so many of us from the Midwest area are driving so far, there has to be something better here, right? Back then, Co-Star would come to Norwalk once a year, Indy once a year, I think St. Louis once a year. But other than that, we had nothing to go to. We didn't have our own.
Yeah.
Back then, that's when Jason and Steve Earle were doing the MyRock, and You know, they had the racers there. And I was like, why we need to start something in the Midwest. So that's hence NHDRO. You know, for years it grew and it grew and it got big and popular. We teamed up with Man Company, did a joint race with them. That
was probably the biggest race in history of bike counts.
It was
ever.
860 some bike. I know Jason has big bike counts too, but it was crazy. I think we were up with Dave and Jay Reagan until 3 a.m. trying to finish Street ET, guys. It was crazy, right?
I was there.
I kind of remember, and I'm looking up at my wall, and I got a check that says it has your name on it, your signature, and it also has Jay's, and it says Street ET winner. So I do remember that, and it was late as shit, and I'm almost positive I beat Spooky because I usually race like shit at night, and it was late. And I somehow beat Spooky.
And that was back in the day when you had a little 6x12 trailer, Ben. That was back in the good old days.
100%.
But what happens is now that, you know, racers, you know, and then taking guys, you know, it's the smallest thing will make a race. Guys, times change, right? You don't understand how difficult, I'm sure you two do. If I make a rule where I allow weights in the class, people will boycott the entire race and say, I can't believe that the rule the way I like it. Well, that really kills drag racing. We can't.
Oh, yeah.
I can't make a decision every day. Like, for example, right now I do, you know, 2 races or 3 races a weekend. On Friday night, we do a little shootout. On Saturday, I do all classes start to finish with a payout. And then Sunday, I'll do the whole thing all over again. So it's really 2 separate races, one on Saturday and one on Sunday. The reason some of the racers like Brian, if all we do is qualify on Saturday and we have to stay on Sunday, if we're already there, can't we get 2 in? Another reason why I do it is because I'm thinking if we get rain on Saturday, wouldn't it be nice if we can do the whole race on Sunday? Or if it rains out on Sunday, wouldn't it be nice to already get paid out?
Yeah.
But the feedback me and some people is, oh, I don't like to race on Sundays. Well, you don't have to because you have the whole race on Saturday. I mean, some of the comments I've been reading lately, like, I can't believe why we have 3 races. Well, you don't have to. If you only want to come on Sunday or on Saturday,
you're giving them the opportunity to come one day and race. And all they have to do is take it. Now, just because they can't control themselves and want to do all of them, that's up to them. That's some shit me and Ben would do. Oh, yeah, we're getting it all. Can we double enter? That's what we would ask. You know?
And about that also is, think about it. You're going to pay to drive to Indy, so you're going to spend X amount of dollars in everything. Why not get as many races in on that same travel dollar, than having to come to 2 different races? So
I mean, nobody buys 1 lottery ticket. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
I bought 10 today.
So that's why I really like, guys, you know, and ask, you know, the listeners. I mean, NHDRO. You know, Nick and I really have poured a lot into it, and we really need the support, especially from the guys that live in the Ohio and the Michigans and Indiana and Kentucky, Tennessee. You know, we need you guys, Illinois. We need you guys to come on out and support, you know, NHDRO. If you just want to come and watch, have a good time, like Dustin said, we're going to have some catfish every Friday and Saturday night.
Bro, best damn catfish ever, man. Like, and you know, you pointed out the people like boycotting the class over a clutch, and I got like, every series has the same rules as you except XDA, and XDA did what they did to lower the bike counts. They done it on purpose. That's why they did it.
Exactly.
When it's 2023, you can't keep running from technology. You know what I mean? Like, look, I always use poor Steven as a perfect example of this clutch deal. Steven could not race Street ET without the clutch, and you buy the clutch, and now Steven's a winner. You know what I mean? Like, he can win. That gets us more racers if they can afford the part. If not, they just got to do it the hard way. You know what I mean? So, I mean, we all see it. We see the times change. I mean, back in the day when people got air shifters, it was a big deal. You know, like, they didn't like it. They wanted everybody to foot shift. Well, you know, now they're standalones, and you just can't stop it because everybody wants the cool shit. You know what I mean? Like, and I personally just like going racing to race and not work on my stuff. So if it helps us have more fun and, you know, a little less work while you're at the racetrack, I'm all for it.
And I definitely changed.
Yeah, and I agree with what you said, Brian. I mean, from the get-go, why the reasons for you and Nikki and your family and all your friends helping out and everybody. I mean, like, you were definitely filling a void, and I know, you know, Dustin and I, especially after I moved from Ohio. When I was in Ohio, you know, I didn't miss one, but now that I'm back home in Virginia, you know, it's definitely hard for me to get out there. I've been trying to make it up, trying to make it out. You know, it's tough, but you know, for those Midwest racers, I don't know why they're not, flooding the gates every time.
Beating the door down. Yeah, if I lived up there, I'd be there.
I mean,
for
it's
sure.
not like it's two things. One is that, XDA is not delay box friendly. It's not delay box country. So,
Right.
and that is where you're racing and you have delay box classes. So like, that's the best place for them to race. And then two, they don't have to drive 8, 10, 12 hours, So yeah.
I agree. So I will say this, guys, for the listeners, if you want a safe place to race with good competition, for a decent price. I mean, we are probably, I don't know, I haven't really compared, but I know we're no more expensive than the other sanctions out there, right?
Oh, no. You're good. Yeah.
NHDRO is the place to go. I mean, just, it's a great time, family atmosphere like we talked about. So, hey, guys, if you want to keep Midwest drag racing going, come on out and hang out with NHDRO.
Yeah, I mean, if you live, I don't see why all these racers that I know, because I sell parts to a lot of racers, and between Kentucky to Michigan, and you draw a circle, there's a shit ton of people that's missing out on some good times. They need to be there for sure.
Yeah. So,
well, hey, we know you gotta get off and go because you're a busy man and you gotta do some work unrelated to racing. So yeah,
my real job. Yeah,
your real job. So no, we didn't.
That's the breadwinner right there. We can't forget that.
Yeah, exactly. So like I said, we don't want to keep you because we know you got another meeting you got to jump on and you're traveling for work. So Brian, we would definitely appreciate you coming on, and hey, we want to get you back on and we want to hear about some of the stories you have because we haven't touched on the stories.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of those. Anytime. I appreciate you, Ben and Dust, for having me out, and to all the listeners, hey guys, this weekend Indianapolis in Cincinnati will be at Edgewater. Come out and hang out with us Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah, and like Brian said, you don't have to race all 3 days. If your wife's pocket purse doesn't hold enough money, then just race one day.
Yeah, or pick a class for one day and another class the next day if you want to race both days. Figure it out. Yeah. Go race.
Yeah, appreciate you guys
for sure. All right, thanks again, Brian. Thanks,
guys.
All right.